Welcome to our Intuitive Art Academy YouTube channel. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy, and I'm here with Carrie Roldan, our certified intuitive artist and certification coach. And we have Carolyn Michelman, and she is joining us to get some clarity on her business. We're very excited about this, at least I am. You can draw along with us. You know, if you have a business, if you don't, if you want one, this will be awesome to draw along with. So Carolyn, why don't you kind of let us know what you're looking for, and Carrie, jump in anytime if you want to say more.
Well, this actually came at a really great time because I am in this position where I'm not exactly sure what part of my business brings me the joy that I seek, right? The fulfillment that I seek. There are parts of it I know I'm good at, and I do, right? But does that mean that's what I'm supposed to be doing? Is there another piece? Is there something I'm missing, you know? And I could go to 100 different avenues, but I want to kind of stay focused and start you let me know if you want something else. But I'm trying to find out like what parts of my business are the parts that I really is highest and best for me to align to more fully.
I love that. And of course, it will be your joy, right? Your joy is the same as that alignment. So I think you said it perfectly.
Okay, good.
I'm dying to say something because you hit a hot button for me where I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. So this has nothing to do with intuitive art, what I'm going to say, but this is like part of what I find myself talking about a lot in the world. And it comes from an episode of Oprah that I saw, I don't know how many years ago, on strengths and weaknesses. So I'll just give it to you like as briefly as I possibly can. And that is that we tend to believe that our strengths are things that we're good at and our weaknesses are things that we're bad at. Or our strengths are things that we're good at and our weaknesses are things that we're less good at or we could improve upon. And as entrepreneurs, we're often told, work on your strengths, right? So get better at the things that you're good at and delegate the things that you're not good at. And I just want to call BS on most of it and say that this is what I learned from Oprah. There was a man on, his name was Marcus Buckingham. I think he wrote a book about discovering your strengths or something. I don't know. But here's what I remember that has been life-changing for me and everyone who I've told. And that is that he said we define strengths and weaknesses the wrong way. That a strength is anything that while you are doing it, it lights you up, right? So your strengths make you feel fully alive. It doesn't matter if you're good at them or not.
Okay.
And a weakness is something that while you are doing it, or even you're thinking about doing it, it depletes you. So strengths enliven you and weaknesses deplete you. So the reason I bring this up is because you said, you know, there are things in my day that I'm really good at, right? Like, should I do more of that? And Rachel said, well, it's always going to be your joy. But I find it helpful to view strengths and like if I'm going to live in my strengths, right? Because I'm all about living in my strengths. What that really means is living in the things that bring you life. So your strengths, and I'm sure intuitive art's going to reveal all kinds of good stuff, right? But your strengths are things that while you're doing them, you feel good, no matter how skilled you are at them. Because in the feeling good and in the doing more of it, because it feels good, you are going to become more skilled at it, right? There may be things you need to learn and maybe skills you need to develop. But a weakness, you could be highly competent. You could be totally skilled at it. But if it depletes you, you're not meant to be doing it. So that was just a big jumping off point. But that's clarity before we even go to intuitive art.
Yeah.
Clarity in it feels permissive.
Yes.
It feels permissive to explore the things that we believe, right, we're not good at, right? Because we're thinking more of skill set than we are thinking of alignment and joy and fulfillment. So we feel like we have to produce this, you know, expert result or something like that. So you get caught up in the trap of those belief systems. That was perfect. I love that. Yeah, that was really good. Thank you.
Yeah. I had a similar kind of turning point a long time ago. I was working as a medium, speaking to people's passed on relatives and stuff. And I came to a point where I really didn't enjoy it anymore. It was like really heavy and emotional. And I didn't see death as a bad thing. So it was harder for me to I didn't want to meet them down at where they were, and it just turned into kind of a mess for me emotionally. And then I realized just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Yes.
So I think you're feeling that. You kind
I'm
of
definitely.
start working because you're more like, I can do this and I want to be of service and I want to help other people. But then you realize it's all just about you. Like
Mhm.
your joy is going to overflow no matter what it is. So yeah, okay, I love this. I think we're set up. And Carrie, I remember that episode. I totally watched it.
Yes.
Okay, formulating a question about that. I mean, I think you asked it perfectly. Where is my joy in my work? How about that? Okay.
So who's drawing? You guys are drawing, right? You ladies are drawing.
I think we should all draw, and
Draw one.
we will all probably get something really similar,
Uh-huh.
but in a really nuanced way for each of us. And we can add it to the clarity. Okay. So where is my joy in my work? For you at home, if you have a color sheet, you can decode your drawing and write down your color meanings on your drawing so that you can make a better story. If you don't have a color sheet or you don't know what we're doing, go to intuitiveartclass.com to take our free class. I love Carrie's nodding. And get your own color sheet, your color meanings, and then this will make a whole lot more sense to you. I feel like, Carolyn, it might be best if you go first, and then we can fill in any gaps if there are any, if we have something to add with ours.
Okay. So over here I have this purple color, right, which is my color actually of success in alignment.
Nice.
All of that, right?
Just
And
the fact that they mean the same thing to you is enough.
I mean, isn't that crazy? And then in the middle, I have this like kind of round spiral space, but there are two colors. There's a dark orange and a light orange. My light orange is like that fun, whimsical, magical, and creative energy. My dark orange is divine wisdom. And then this blue up the top here, this is always backwards. Sorry, can never get that right. But anyway, the blue up here is my truth, my expression, and expansion. So for me, it feels like the more I'm in my truth, the more I'm in my expression, the more magical and creative the energy flows through me. And it feels like that support of that purple color of the being aligned, because it's also purple is my also color of my spiritual, so it's that spiritual support bringing me into like my spiritual alignment, and that's what brings me the most success. In success being the fact that joy for me, living in my joy as well. That's what it feels like for me. I really would love to hear you.
Yeah, well, we'll get to more of this, but the first question that popped into my head is, what parts of your work already feel like this?
um, the parts of my work that feel like this are when I'm speaking, like when I last year I did my first conference with a big group of women. I had 50 women in the room teaching a workshop, and it was like, I mean, I didn't know where my body began or ended. You know what I mean? It was like that feeling. And when I left there, I might have shared this with you over something else, but when I left there that day, like for everything I worked for came to like a pinnacle point in that moment. And I was like, if nothing else happens, then for me, that was it. You know what I mean? But then of course that goes away and you want to do it again. And so it was like group stuff. I love that. I've been invited to teach a class, a retreat out in Costa Rica in a conference in 2021. And that lights me up. Right. And I love the intuitive art piece. Like I fell on this because I was seeking some creative outlet, because I can tend to get caught up in my analytical mind. Right. I have that, I can be both sides. I can be very spiritual, but then I can get really bogged down in the logic and practicality of things. And I love that this took me out of my mind. And there's no making it up. Like I close my eyes, I pull the crayon. So it really helps me to develop that connection with my higher self and to really trust that. And I love teaching people that as well. But I know what I don't want. I'm starting to get really clear, and I think right now is like the first time I'm really going to own this in some kind of a public forum. Is I don't think I want to work one on one with people anymore. I'm just not feeling one on one anymore, and I hold on to it for scarcity and lack, and it feels draining and heavy now. If I'm being brutally honest. Mm. Okay.
Nice. I know.
Busting at the seams. But that's the truth, because I could cry when I say that, because I almost feel like I've been trained and like groomed for this piece of my purpose here was to help women, to empower them, to help them step out of fear. And I feel like I'm almost feeling like failure. Yeah. I almost feel like, well, I failed my guides. I failed the universe, right? Mm-hmm. Why can't I just change gears and take a new direction and do it with a different outlet, a different medium, through a different channel, right?
You can.
Yeah.
I talk about this with Carrie a lot. It seems hard because there's momentum there. Mm-hmm. You're turning the bus around, mm-hmm. and you got to slow down for that. Mm-hmm. And it's hard, and there's friction, and buses are hard to turn. So it's okay. Don't judge yourself for the fact that it seems hard right now, or that you have contrary feelings like I should do it. I invested in it. I've been training to do it. That's all okay. Mm-hmm. So you have your new direction, mm-hmm. slowing down to turn the bus, and it's all okay.
Like, see, I love this online. Like, I want more of this. Something about this I really like. I mean, I love this outlet. I love this medium. I love it, but I haven't been able to align to it because there's part of me who's resisting it because I think I'm moving into some form of failure.
All right. Well, I'm going to go because Carrie, I can tell you're formulating, but mine really addresses that. So where is your joy, Carolyn? My drawing, it has this big grounded circle. Mm-hmm. And grounded in business means like you feel solid, you feel secure, you feel capable, you feel organized, you feel the support of the earth, and you know what I mean? Like your spirit, like you're ready. And I get a lot of that feeling from you. I feel that from you. So you have a foundation, and your foundation is you and your connection, and you feel really good on that. You're capable, you're confident, and that can bring you joy. Mm-hmm. Then on top of everything, I have my contentment color. Mm-hmm. So contentment, like, oh, it's almost the same thing. Oh, I'm really good at this. I'm really capable of this. Mm-hmm. And there's so much that I created that I like. And I know that I can create anything I want. It's like your confidence in your ability to create, mm-hmm. right? You have a great life. I saw your backyard. It's beautiful. Like there's so many things that can make you smile about where you're at. And that's the contentment piece. You're generally a happy person. But then this middle part here is my muddy color. It's the opposite of joy. Yeah. So you're keeping yourself a little bit stuck by focusing on the not wants and the I shoulds. And that's okay, right? You had a very similar shape in your drawing where you had your oranges in the middle and a circle around it. And this is just a little bit of looking in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. It's okay for you to look at your joy. It's okay for you to move in the direction of your joy. You're hooked up with a new coordinate with your higher self. You've expanded beyond where you thought you'd be, and it doesn't feel good anymore to be on the same old path. So you put in a new thing in the GPS, and your higher self is taking you there. You don't have to look back. You can just look ahead to where you want to be and where you want to go. I wrote down curiosity for this because this is your curiosity is bringing you in the direction of your joy. Uh-huh. So it's okay to follow that.
Okay. And I really like, again, it's permissive for me. Yeah. For some reason, I have myself locked in this zone of having to, do what I set out to do from the beginning. But I know, as a coach, I was just looking at something to show you, as a coach, as someone doing this work who has a lot of self-coaching from other people in that work, that it's okay to recreate yourself. It's okay to change directions. So why am I'm so hard on myself that
It's
I
just
can't?
momentum.
It's
It's
like,
just
well, yeah. And I think there's part of me that's worried about what other people will think, about, oh, well, she was doing this, now she's doing that. I mean, well, yeah, right? Yeah. And I hope that it gives you permission to feel like you could do that too, right? But I have to get through. I'm getting through that. I'm going to put that like that.
well,
I'm in that place right now where things feel unsettled, something's changing, there's something old is moving out, something, because all my drawings of lately have, new, fresh, inspired idea. It comes on it. My lime green shows up in a lot of things for me. And I'm excited about that because I really feel like I want something new and fresh and light and fun and, but still like this, it doesn't feel heavy, and just still feels light and fun and creative and inspiring and very, very powerful. That's what I want. Yeah.
So I have something for you. I freaked out a little bit when I saw Rachel's drawing because it was similar to mine. But this is just a reframe, and that is around should. Right. So first, I have to tell you, I decided not to see one-on-one clients anymore, and it was terrifying because I'm exactly the same as you. Like, I'm great one-on-one. I just love, and I do enjoy my one-on-one clients, but I don't want a one-on-one business.
Right.
And I love being in front of groups, and I feed off the energy of a group. And the minute I gave myself permission, right? So that's everything you said. You like, that sounds really permissive. So I just want, you have permission to do whatever the hell you want. For me, that was like getting over the prescribed business model. And this is how you make money and like all of that stuff. And all of that came down to shoulds. And I don't remember where I heard this one. Maybe Danielle Laporte forever ago. I don't know. But someone sometime in my journey said, take that word should and replace it with if I really wanted to, I could. And it was a deep breath. It was like, all of a sudden, I should lose 15 pounds became, if I really wanted to, I could lose 15 pounds. Oh my God, I don't want to diet. I don't like, or, like if I should vacuum the front room, well, if I really wanted to, I could, but I don't really want to right now. And right? Like all of those shoulds are coming from someone else's idea of what's right for me. But if I really wanted to, I could. That comes from me getting in touch with what I really want, right?
Right. And I love that. Again, I'm going to say it again. It feels very permissive. It's like I have this need for permission. It's like, I don't know, but we all must go through it at some point, like you're sharing. But it's so funny that you just mentioned about the business model, and this is how it should be. So I'm recently in a coaching group, right? That's not feeling aligned to me either. It's all about the standard, what you have to do to market and who you should show up as and narrowing down your niche. And I'm like, I want to go blah, 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 blah. I want out. Isn't that terrible? That's how that makes me feel. It feels too should. You should, you should, you should. And I know I seek some level of freedom, a whole lot of freedom. And I need to be in a space that allows me to do things freely, which you just shared, right? That example. If I wanted to, I could, but I really don't want to.
Well, and here's the thing about that. This is the thing that I found so interesting is eventually you do narrow your niche. Eventually you do, like all of the things they're teaching you, they happen, but not because you've had to figure it out. Right? Not because you filled out the worksheet. They happened because that's the natural evolution of where you're meant to go. And where, like, you can't force it. You can't make it happen with your head. You've got to listen to your alignment.
Yeah.
Okay. So my drawing was so similar to what you guys have said. And I was struggling to understand the color in the middle. And so I was asking on that color, but I don't know if you can see, it's mostly there's, a white color that's all over everything. And I'm not sure if you can see the white color. So the first thing I drew was that bright yellow. And for some reason, normally my drawings go really fast, But for you, it felt very slow and like deliberate in what I was putting down on paper. So the question is, where is Carolyn's joy in her work? And that yellow color, which I put down really slowly and just sort of deliberately, was smile, satisfaction, and ease. That's what that yellow is. It's not joy.
It's
Ease.
ease. You said it. Oh.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then the next color I put down was that sort of, it's the kind of baby poop green color. And that was the color I was struggling to understand because it's a stagnation color. But then I got it. Like when I saw Rachel's drawing and I heard what it was like, okay, she's got this ease and there's stagnation on top of this, on top of the ease. And my question was like, is she blocking her ease? But then you talked about the work that you do and how you help people. And I think it's twofold. I think you are sitting in a bit of stagnation as you are where you are. But the answer to the question was, where's Carolyn's joy in her work? And you bring that smile, that satisfaction, that ease to people who are in stagnation, right? To people who are looking for that. And so I feel like that's part of your joy, is recognizing and you moving through that stagnation and having other people move through that stagnation. I know that's part of my joy in the work you do as a coach. There are times of stuckness for yourself and others, and there's so much joy in uncovering what's in that stuckness and moving up and out of it. And then the last color that was just on top of everything, it encompassed every single thing in the drawing except for a tiny bit of the yellow color. And that one is, it's being pure, being open, being allowing, and angelic guidance, right? So basically you saying exactly like being the channel, showing up in your gifts, in your joy, your satisfaction, and your ease, being that clear divine channel, knowing that that's who you are. And then I think Rachel, maybe you can help me in that. I feel like it's not ignoring the stagnation, right? It's really embracing it as this too shall pass. And how do we get you aligned and out of it?
What I was saying with you're just looking at the old route. There's nothing you need to do other than look at where you want to be. That's it. And then it's like, that's what turns the bus around. It's just looking at the new directions. And the directions are your intuition, your cues of what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel joyful. That's the new direction. It's your curiosity. It's what lights you up. And so you can start just doing more of what lights you up. And as you transition, you'll probably still feel like there are some things you have to do. That's okay. You can, that's what Carrie's saying, like, embrace it. All right, I created this one business and I can, wind it down as I'm turning around. So don't be mad at yourself above all, right? You created something that worked for you, brought you here. It gave you competencies and confidence and a great foundation. And now you just know you want to be over there, right? You're just building on what you've created, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And it's so true, because that's exactly how I've been feeling. I've been feeling very stuck, like really, like 2 feet, Carrie, 2 feet planted in the mud. So that muddy color, it is me planted in it. But I also like, because as you're speaking to me, as Rachel, as you're talking, Carrie, as you were talking, I get this visual of just like shedding it all. Like just shedding it and starting fresh and focusing on, like you said, and just really putting my energies into focusing on what brings me joy, what brings me fun. Carrie, you hit the nail on the head about the ease. It's not even about, because the ease will bring joy for me. Because it's the struggling, it's the trying to figure it out, it's the you should be doing it this way, and if you're not showing up in your business that way, then you're not, going to be successful, because this is what the principles say, and I just want to pull my hair out, like I just want to scream, Like I don't want to think anymore. I just want to be with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like yesterday, went in my backyard on my deck yesterday because I was so needed to ground and so needed ease in that moment that I went out there and I just started to, I got the paints and I just started to play with the watercolor paints, right? And I left myself in that time. It was like, again, there's no awareness of where my body ends and where my body begins because I'm not in that space of figuring out. I am in complete flow and letting go. Right? So there's something about this that's really important for me in my soul. You know what I mean? And not just for work. I mean, I'm going to love to bring it out for work. I'm excited about that, potential. But to start off, even it's like a gift to me. That's how I feel about this. I mean, like I said, I stumbled upon this. This was not something I stumbled on this. And now I'm at this place of, I know there's a shedding and letting go and something else is going to birth. I know that, but I'm in like the labor period right now, right? It's painful for the mom. It's not so pretty for the baby, right? So you're in this.
So I'm gonna cut you off there
Go
because
right ahead.
the more you focus on the pain, the larger the pain is gonna be. So there's really nothing big happening here. You've expanded.
Mhm.
You went as far down the one-on-one coaching lane as you were meant to go.
Mhm.
It's just supposed to bring you to your bigger evolution.
Right.
You've expanded. And that's why it feels so good to step out of the idea that you created for yourself when you're in flow, when you're in meditation. You're really connecting with the real you. That's how you can feel most of the time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if any of us are really feeling that all the time.
Right. Life
Most
happens.
of the time, you can feel good like that.
Mhm.
So don't focus on the pain. Don't focus on it's not even a big deal. And I know I'm saying this kind of callously, but I know you are ready to hear this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I can take it.
Yes.
I actually welcome it because
Yes.
it puts it right in my face. You know what I mean?
You're
And
flying down the highway right now. You're not going to spend all of your time looking back. You can't drive looking in your rearview mirror, right?
right.
You look ahead at where you are going.
So I'm with you, Rachel. I've also attached myself to your birth analogy, Carolyn. I think what I want to say about that is that when you're in labor, there's two ways to look at it. Oh my God, this is the most painful experience of my life. How long is it going to last? This is so hard. Can I do it? Like, I need an epidural, like all of that, right? Or
They've done that.
right? You could look at it that way. Or you could look at it as my body was built to do this.
Mm-hmm.
My body's been preparing to do this. I don't have to do anything but be present and breathe. My body knows what to do. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's always a matter of perspective. So right. Which birth would you like? How would you like to go into that birthing situation? Well,
it's so funny because I've had both. I've literally had both.
Okay.
I had one labor that was really excruciating, and I'm not staying there, but it was, right? And then I had one that was like she's out. Like, what happened? Like, that was it? So I'm going to stay with that feeling. The whoop, what happened? Right? That was it. And I think part of that came because there's other things going on. You know what I mean? So it's not just about the work. It just feels like everything's at once is what that's coming from, that pain analogy. But I totally get it. And I totally agree with it. And you're right. It's about giving myself permission to let go and move on. And I love the analogy about like you've gotten to a place where you've evolved from what you were doing. And that resonates really deep in me too. It's like, it just doesn't feel like it used to, it just doesn't feel like it used to. Not that I won't use some of that stuff in like groups at work. All that stuff will stay with me on some level, but it just doesn't feel like it used to light me up. I used to get excited about it. And now I almost get like, oh,
yeah,
this is what my schedule looks like this week.
And then when you know that it's time to see what is lighting you up, right?
Right.
Because when I was a psychic, I had psychic Saturdays, and people would just drop in to see me, and they could ask me about anything, and I just would like puke in my mouth when they wanted to know, like, where's my boyfriend? When is he coming? And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that question.
No,
Like,
but
it's
yeah.
a fine question, but I was so sick and tired of it.
Hmm.
And then people, like, at the end of the reading, they'd be like, so do you want to know how much you were right? And I'm like, it's a psychic reading. We're talking about the future. What are you talking
Yeah. Like, how do you know if it's
about?
right?
Yeah, when you start
Okay.
resenting the
Yeah.
people you're working with, it's time for a change.
Exactly. Exactly. When you sit there, you're checking out. Your mind
Yeah,
is checking out on them, and it's not good for anybody.
no.
Them, me, it's just not a good thing.
So I have that story too.
Oh, good. See,
This is interesting. So I was a high school teacher and cross country and track coach. And becoming a teacher was a big should for me, right? It was like, you should do that because it perfectly matches you want to coach. That's after school. You could teach at the school you coach at. It's the best. You would be the best teacher. You're like, and I was like, okay, yeah, I should. And all the benefits and the school year, and like, you need to be a teacher, Carrie. So I became a teacher. And I thought I wanted it. And exactly the thing that you guys are both talking about. Like, I remember I loved coaching so much. By the way, coaching high school kids pays like $2,000 a year. Like, it does not pay the bill. And I loved it. And I was so good at it. And that was all I could think about. And like, I mean, I spent all of my time. I loved it. And teaching, I was good at it. People liked me as a teacher. I would have been considered a strength for me. But I
right.
remember having that moment where I'm like, I swear to God, if one more kid comes in and asks me for help, I'm going to lose it. And I was like, you got to get out, Carrie. Like, this is what teachers do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I'm glad you guys had a story too.
You're not a bad person.
I don't feel so bad. Yeah.
It's always, so this is important to know though, right? Because it is always our higher selves nudging us in the direction we're meant to go. So if we're not listening to the nudges, we're going to get more and more and more uncomfortable until we get to the place where we're not liking who we are, right? We're not liking how we're behaving, because that forces us to, then we're in some sort of crisis, right, of consciousness that forces us to decide, who do I want to be, right? And do I want to be someone who hates my job and hates my clients and gets resentful, and am I even going to be good anymore? Or do I want to be someone who follows my curiosity, who trusts the flow, who gets into alignment? And Rachel and I are examples of, because I know sometimes it can be scary. Like, it feels like there's not that many stories, even though every single success story is someone who had to abandon the safe and secure and known for, but it can still feel like I don't know where to turn for a story like this. And it's helpful to have people like me and Rachel and everybody in our little community who's like, you know what, every time that I have taken an aligned leap of faith, right? A step out, the universe, I feel like this is what happens, is like I step out into the abyss, and the earth just comes right up underneath my foot to meet me. Like,
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, but it can be scary taking that step. And so I think that's what this call is about, right? It's, you keep saying over and over, like, that feels permissive. It's knowing your higher self is not steering you wrong ever.
Like, and again, as you're talking and things are coming in, flowing in, it's like I want to take that dive into the intuitive art piece. I want to take that dive into trying to get the classes going without having to worry about all the other pieces. You know, I just want to focus on that piece. And why couldn't I just say that before? Right? Because sometimes we need it to, bring us there, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's really going on is, like, how this works. So people are listening, like, we're just telling you to go for it, jump into the unknown, leave what's been working for you. Like, that sounds horrifying to most people. But this is really what's going on, is that your higher self is, like, leading you in the direction that will provide everything for you, like the joy, the fulfillment, yes, but also the money and the financial growth and stability that you're really looking for, because this is about work and we equate money with work. What you want to do is be in a joyful place as often as you can And when you get an idea that feels joyful, go there, even if it's not on your to do list, because that is leading you down the path of all the boxes being checked, right? The money, the fulfillment, the joy, the aliveness, the helping people, the helping yourself, the experiencing yourself as new. All of the boxes are checked when you follow your intuition. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. And the word that jumps out is aliveness. Like,
Yeah.
feel that aliveness again. That, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people are afraid that the money's not in there. They think it's either or. I can be financially secure or I can be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And what Carrie was saying is that every success story has both is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I read and listen to interviews with billionaires and, you know, multimillionaires just to hear their stories, and every one of them agrees that intuition was what got them to where they are. Intuition and meditation usually. So
and that's been coming in a lot more too, is the meditation. Yeah.
Well, the meditation stops the resistance. So it gives you a place to breathe, right? It gives you a place to hear those impulses of what would be joyful for you to do that day.
And that's what I've been in, resistance. That's the resistance, is the stuckness.
And don't forget, the resistance is just in your momentum. So don't beat up on yourself if you feel that, if you are starting to think about the shoulds, like just take that as a cue to remind yourself, okay, I'm leaving this behind and it's going to take a little while for it to really be out of my system. But the only way to move forward and get that out of my system is to focus on my joy and where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really are in a good mood, like say you're in a great mood already, or you just meditated, you're feeling neutral, then you can vision, well, I know I love being in front of groups. So I know what this is going to lead me to group work. And I know that I love this feeling of being a leader. And I know that I love bringing in the spiritual aspect of things. So you can kind of bump up the specifics of where you want to be, but only when you're feeling good.
Okay.
I have a friend who does a workshop called Find Your Golden Thread. And she teaches writers. But I feel like everybody's life has this golden thread, right? This thread that goes through it in all the work we've ever done and all the ways we've ever shown up. There's like that, the thread of truth, right? The thread of alignment, the thread of, I don't know, usness that goes through all of it. And so I kind of want to, I don't know if the question is around finding your thread, but I just kind of want to talk about that for a second. Because you said, you know, this first job that you eventually got so resentful in that you hated it. Initially, you said it was about helping women feel good. And then the work that you do now, that you're starting to realize that you're transitioning out of, I mean, is it safe to say that's also about helping women feel good?
Yes. It's about, when we talked about helping the women feel good in the aesthetic world, right? What led me out of it is that they were getting it and they had every reason to feel good, but yet they still weren't. It was like that feeling, I don't know, something about that wasn't vibing with me, right? So it ended up getting very draining because it didn't move. And then when you're saying now to move, is to move them into that place that feels, it connects them. Connection is what it is with this. With this intuitive artwork, it's not helping them to feel good. It's helping them to connect what feels good for them. It's more about connection than healing, or it's the word connection is what comes in, right? And that relationship connecting to the higher self, because I truly believe in that space. You know, I truly believe that even in the days when I went from aesthetics to the coaching and all that, my thread maybe then was that place of empowering people to know that they could go inward for answers. Right? That everything they needed to know was inside them, to learn to trust themselves, right? And now I feel like it's bringing that to trust and connect even deeper on a higher level, and not just about yourself, but connecting to the divine part of you, right? No, and bringing it just to another level. Like you said, like it's evolving, there's expansion in that, and just bringing that to a deeper and higher level of connection. So you have like that unwavering trust when you draw a picture and you get, you know what I mean? Yeah, there'll always be some you might say, oh, can someone take a look at this? That's not what I mean. I mean, but you know, you have that go-to place right at the tips of your fingers. There's support there for you. There's, connection, there's love, there's guidance, there's clarity, and it's all right there once you learn how to make that connection, trust it, and practice with it and get used to it. Right? Just about building a relationship with your higher self. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you see? Could you feel your thread in that?
Yes, I can feel that because it's where I'm at. It's where I was led, so I'm living it. It's not just an idea I had. I'm actually living it and coming through it. And what I do is I share. When I find something that I love and that works for me, I can't help but share. Like I want to share it. That's who I am. That's what I do.
You seem very clear that using intuitive art to empower women or men, but it sounds like it's more women for you, feel that connection, right? To feel better, right? Empowering women to feel better about themselves, but so much more, right? Because they're in the feeling better, they're getting connected is coming through intuitive art. I'm wondering if there's a question around that, around if you're super clear, I need to do intuitive art, or if you're going like, got it, intuitive art, now what?
Well, how's
I'm
that?
going to interject just one moment. Because I feel like, so the hardest part of living life in alignment is that it happens in the moment. All of our clarity comes from that feeling of resonance in the moment. Like, oh, this is my joyful step right now. And then having that presence in the moment to follow through with it instead of just really automatically push it aside and say, oh, but that's not going to lead me to this. It's making your alignment more important than your old way of thinking about shoulds and linear pathways and all that kind of stuff, right? So I don't know if doing another drawing would even be beneficial right now. I think we got to a place where you're trusting your alignment now. And in the moment is when you're going to listen for your next clue. And that clue is going to come in the form of what feels best to you. What are you most excited to do in this moment? What feels most free or allowing? It's going to be the best feeling option that you have in the moment, and that's what's going to bring you forward. You're going to get your business ideas that way, and your life ideas like going out on the deck and painting, and that's going to allow that feeling of flow to happen. So your alignment, whenever you're in it, whenever you're feeling good, is allowing all the success, right? Like we talked, checking all the boxes, all the life and business and work and money, that's all getting handled when you're in alignment. So now it's getting in alignment and then following the intuition from there. And it's going to be a really weird path, but it's going to be the fastest path.
All right. Okay. No, I totally understand that because I belong to this mastermind group that I really haven't been feeling, but I've been in it because I felt guilty leaving. So I sent the email off this morning, and I asked them to cancel my membership because it just wasn't feeling aligned. And why was I going to be in there? Right. So I said, it doesn't matter. You don't have to explain to anybody. It's not working for you. You're not in alignment with it. So if it's not a 10, this is the thing I've been learning. If it's not a 10 for me, like I don't want it anymore, in that moment. When I'm on the deck, when I went out there to paint, you would have thought I was Picasso because that's how good I felt. Didn't matter what it looked like to me. It didn't matter, right? It was just like, I was just enjoying dipping my brush in the paint and putting it on, you know what I mean? I was just enjoying having my colors in front of me. I've had this fetish with art supplies. I always have my whole life. And so it's interesting, but I do love that is my point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that accomplishes a lot. That being in that place accomplishes a lot. You know that, right?
Yeah. And yes. And then I went out tonight and I meditated and I had a really cool experience in my meditation tonight. It was just, I haven't been able to be that connected is the word again in a very long time. So, and even after the conversation here and listening to you and Carrie and, looking at my own picture, I feel lighter in my heart space. Like I feel really lighter in my heart and even in my solar plexus, to be honest. Like there's something about, like, I feel like I'm back in some part of my power again. You know what I mean? The power to choose. And for some reason, I've given that away.
You didn't give it away. You just weren't looking at it.
Yes.
This is what I'm talking about. So don't look at the pain. Look at where you're going. We've been doing that the last few minutes, and you're already feeling in that place.
And it feels really good. Yeah,
yes.
It feels really good. And when we get
that's
done,
all it takes. Yeah, that's all it takes. So just remember that. I just have to focus on what I want, and then I will feel better.
I can do that.
My friend Laura Jane has, her business is about physical alignment. But I use her practices all the time because for me, getting into physical, like structural alignment is a step in getting to my, I believe, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. They're all connected, right? Anyways, her whole thing is feel better now. And so sometimes when I want to feel better now, it could be emotional. It could be like something else. I know I'm going to do those things, those few little alignment exercises that Laura Jane has me do because I associate them with feel better now. Okay. And so I can sit and, do a couple different stretches and know, okay, I'll feel better now. Right. And that's the stuff we're talking about, right? Where's my joy? If I'm not feeling great, Rachel's constantly reminding me, because I tend to want to make quantum leaps. Like I feel like total shit right now. I want to feel like $1 million. And she's like, well, you got to turn the bus around. Right. And so I'm constantly looking for those incremental shifts that I can make to feel better now, to feel better now, to feel better now, because that's how you build momentum and alignment and you're doing it. That's what I want to say. That the watercolors and the meditating and meeting with us, these are all ways that your higher self is guiding you to feel better now, to feel a little better now and a little better now until you're soon like your train is moving fast and you're like, this is amazing. And I'm in my ease and my joy and I can't believe how good it is. Only I can believe it.
Yes. Ease and joy. That's ease and joy. I'm excited. I am excited. I feel free. I feel, I'm just excited is the word. There's no other word. I feel excited for what's possible, what I can create from this. Yeah. I love that. See, that makes me want to go, whoa.
Nice. Woo, we'll do it with you. Awesome.
And this couldn't have come at a better time. So thank you for that. This came at the perfect time. No better timing. So
it's a co-creation that we are all enjoying.
Yeah. And I will share this because I want to share this, is that I love being part of the Intuitive Art Group. It is such a kind, authentic, supportive group of people. I'm so glad I found it and I really enjoy being part of it. I just wanted to share that. You created a really nice space, Rachel.
Thank you.
Carrie, you too. I know you're a big part of it. I just want to say thank you because it's my favorite group. Because there's a freedom in that group, right? There aren't the shoulds, right? You're free to creatively express yourself and however that shows up for you. Right, on the paper and within Intuitive Art, right? And I love that. So thank you.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for being part of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, and we got a little boy being very free.
Oh, look at
So cute.
I think
thank you so much for meeting with us. It was really a joy to bring you through this little guided process. Carrie, thank you. Is there anything you want to end with?
No, just so fun. And this, you found home, right? When you're like, this group feels good. The other mastermind didn't feel good.
No.
One is not any better than the other, right? It's just one's more for you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
You're stuck with me now.
Love it. Love it. Don't go anywhere. If you drew along with us and you want to share your drawing, go into our Facebook group and post it, and we'll all be able to see and help you decode if you need it. And subscribe, watch our videos, and we love you. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and thank you, Carolyn and Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Bye.